Welcome back to Off the Desk. We're here with a awesome guest, Ben O'Toole, Australian actor extraordinaire, and your host, the usual, is Steve Kelly and myself, Tom Kelly. So, Benny,
hello.
I've just pulled up Wikipedia, and I think it's worth saying you're Ben O'Toole on Wikipedia. So, Ben O'Toole is an Australian actor.
Oh, look at that photo!
It's not a good photo.
Jesus.
He's known for his roles as Rex Cohen in Bloody Hell, his reoccurring roles in several Australian TV series such as Amazing Grace, as well as for his supporting roles in films such as Hacksaw Ridge, 12 Strong. He plays Angus in 2025 dark comedy thriller Penny Lane is Dead. And he's also appeared on stage many times, including Happy Loman in Death of a Salesman back in 2013 and again in 2024. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is. Who does that, though? Like, does somebody...
I mean, other than you or you?
I tell you what, if I did it, I would have picked a way better picture.
Yeah,
Look at that.
It's not a great picture.
I even know that was from a press junket in LA.
Everybody loves somebody.
Everybody loves
They didn't
somebody.
even
That's
say
right.
that in the preview.
Well, so in the press junket, though, you know, junkets can only go for 4 minutes. And because it was a bilingual film, every question would get asked in Spanish and then in English. That's a photo of me pretending I know Spanish. I can promise you.
See.
I think that was the theme of the movie, though.
It
You
actually
pretended to know
was.
Spanish.
That's
yeah.
right. That's
and you knew
right.
it too well, so you didn't speak it.
You should, man.
It's very clear.
I know.
So
I know.
someone who
Thankfully,
knows you and cannot speak Spanish.
that's right. Thankfully, it was a romantic comedy, so people, if they found it endearing, you know, sort of like me giving it a go, it worked. It wasn't useless.
They loved it. I don't know why they didn't
Yeah, good.
include Everybody Loves Somebody in your little first bio, but they've got the photo from there.
Yeah, I mean, Wikipedia
Anyway.
is done by people, right?
Yes,
like,
it is.
they just upload, so whoever this person is hasn't seen it.
I think we know what you'll be doing this afternoon.
I know, I'm going to go and update
Wikipedia.
this for sure.
Awesome, man.
Better picture.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We thought we'd just have a quick chat just about, you know, a bit of your past, present, and future, and just go through some cool things, cool stories, and also some challenges. I think it's always good for the audience to hear
Yeah.
about it. And like, not everyone has been through an acting journey. Most haven't. And I guarantee every kid when they were 6 years old probably said, I want to be an actor. So you've lived that life of probably many kids' dreams. So
Living that life.
living, sorry, not
Yeah,
lived. Yeah, you're
no,
still here.
don't- yeah,
You're still
thank
here.
you. What do you know that I don't? These are very white walls, actually.
Yeah, we'll get some Glad wrap out. Is that what it's called? You know, like Dexter. That's what I was thinking. Were you thinking
Oh,
that?
yeah, sure.
Anyway, don't worry about that. That's where you were going with it.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Anyway, so tell us about when you were a kid. Did you know you wanted to be an actor? Give us the backstory. What happened?
I think so. I mean, you know, like you said, I mean, everybody kind of plays pretends when you're a kid. I remember with my little brother, we used to get mum to roll up tea towels and we'd pin them to our like track pants and we'd have tails. I don't, for what purpose, I don't know, but we were like, you know, we'd run around in trees and stuff like that. And that's I bring it, that's the depth of my acting as well. It's just like, does a character have a tail? No? Right, okay. Don't know how I'm going to do this.
And
but
that's when you knew.
That's when I
wore a tail, you're like,
100%,
My life
100%.
needs to be.
It just made sense, you know.
does, mate, and
The
I know
minute
you
mum would
do, it
safety
makes
pin
sense.
that on, I'd be like, there it is. That's right.
That's it.
But I think like from playing pretends, when we were in high school, I was in a band, remember?
I do, definitely.
yeah.
No vacancy,
Unfortunately.
was it? What was it?
No. What were we called? We were called Twilight Crab at one point. No, and then we were called The View.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember there's a TV show, The View, and one of the band members being like, we're going to have to change our name. And I'm like, why? And it's like, because, you know, Whoopi Goldberg's on that show, The View and everything. And you're going, how big do you... Yeah, right. Okay. Do you really think we're going to be... Yeah, we should change it just in case they've got to move out.
In case you're big enough to compete.
That's right. You know, people forget that it's a daytime television kind of talk show. So...
I don't think it'll surprise people that you were the lead singer of that band as well.
That's
We should
true.
clarify on that.
Yeah,
so
no, sorry. I
still
was
got the pipes.
I was the singer.
Very
I still
much
got
the lead singer.
Do you know, I used, man. Do you know what I've realised over the years is that I like singing. That doesn't mean you're good at singing. You know, I really enjoy it, and I've since, you know, had the luxury, as we all have, of hearing people that can really sing. And there was a time when I thought I was one of those because I loved it so much.
And you'd sing at a party or the band would go off, mate. Yeah, you were definitely the best singer in the crowd we had. So it was a very low bar. So
You had an all-boys
at an
rugby
all-boys
school. That's
focused on
right.
sport. You could at least hold a note. So.
Yeah, well, just for a little bit longer than others. I don't.
100%.
If I had to hold it for too long, that shit was cracking.
But then you heard it back and you're like, acting's the way.
That's exactly right. I was like,
Acting's the way.
do you know what I think's more fun? You know what's really fun about performing? The actual like running around and acting like a dickhead, not the talent bit. So, but I remember there was we did. You know, we used to do all that like nativity stuff as well. Whenever it was like Lent and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know, we at school. You know, we went to a Catholic all boys school, and I think I remember I played Jesus once.
That wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah,
And you
yeah, I
weren't allowed
know.
to have the same long hair that you've presently.
Fury, I know, with the bleach
character
tips.
anyway,
Jesus knew what was up. He had style. Nobody follows somebody without a bit of style. Hence the white as well.
style, I like it.
Yeah. So, and our drama teacher, Miss Falconer, Elizabeth Falconer, she was like, that was pretty cool. And then when we were graduating, I found out that she'd gone to NIDA, and I'd kind of wanted to start acting, or like it really, drama was like my favorite subject. And at an all boys school, you know, that subject was typically like a bit of a bludge subject as well. Like there are a lot of people going,
What are you doing?
all you got to do is like just show up and you pass. But I really loved it. And finding out that, you know, and then started looking into it, and like my favorite actor back then was Mel Gibson. And he'd gone to NIDA, and like Kate Blanchett, you know, so there was this school called NIDA that I was like, far out, you know, this mystical place that, you know, these kids go into and they emerge stars. And I was like, cool. And then our drama teacher, just at Marist, had been to that school. And I was like, holy shit, you know, and it's like that thing of, it just became a little bit closer, a little bit more attainable. You know, it's like, well, if you're a normal person, you went, so I could go. Haven't quite jumped there yet, but you know, it just seemed a little bit more achievable. And with her encouragement, I sort of believed that maybe I had a shot at least getting into the school.
Yeah. How old were you then? Did you leave school and start applying, or?
No, I left. It's not a sob story, but mum and dad were just like, okay, that's a pipe dream and don't lose it, but just let's get real for a second. So, you know, maybe, you know, get your plan B sorted before you do plan A. And so I ended up doing a a secondary education degree with English and drama. So I was going to be like a drama teacher for high schools.
Those who cannot do. Teach.
Exactly. And then when I was there, actually, like in our first year, because we like it was 3 years of drama, and then you'd really focus on the teaching side of things.
Yeah.
And when I was there, we did this one bit of performance, and I got at the time, I don't know, I mean, I'm old now, but I don't know what the education's like up here now, or the education system, I should say. I'm sure the education's still great. But like a 7 was the highest you could get.
Yep.
And I got a 7 for this one bit of performance. And so that was another, like, I was scratching my head thinking, like, okay, like, I'm a small fish in a little bit of a bigger pond now. And that seemed to go, okay, maybe I can, maybe I might give this a go. And then 2 years into that degree, this, like, 3,000 word assignment came across the desk. And I was just like, oh, get serious. Like, what is that? Nobody wants to hear 3,000 of my words.
No one's probably reading it. Also, this is pre-ChatGPT. Like, we didn't have any.
Exactly.
We didn't actually write this.
Do you know, that's right. You know, and if you were going to, like, that's a lot of cutting and pasting and referencing.
Rewording.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to make it your own. And you're like, and nobody cares what I think about existential theatre. They don't. So I remember that came across and I was like, fuck it. Can we swear?
Sure.
Great. I'll keep it to a minimum. That's what that was. That's like, you've done it.
I told Tom not to in a previous podcast, but I'm letting you go.
That was the look, and I was like, well, I guess we can.
I'm not allowed to.
Ben can.
But
Yeah.
yes, I guess are. So go for gold, man. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'll keep that to a minimum. But I sort of went, I was like, I'm going to like audition for the drama schools. And I'd done a bit more research, and there was one at QUT as well. There was the Bachelor of Fine Arts Acting, But I didn't really consider that because I thought I wanted to go away for it.
Yep.
Go
you've
away and
heard
study?
NIDA. Like a lot of Australians will have heard of NIDA as a school, just
Yeah.
for the people you mentioned and others that have produced. So
Yeah.
I remember you at the time thinking like, NIDA's the only
Night is exactly.
I have to go
Yeah.
to NIDA.
It was.
I want to pursue this. Yeah, and I remember you blindly pursued it, but
It was.
life
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a way of pushing different directions.
It really does, and kind of really fortuitously, kind of sent me on a bit of a different path. But it was very much neither or nothing. So I did I did also audition for Whopper and VCA as well, which was down in Melbourne. The VCA audition was super weird. Like really, everything they make fun of with drama schools, that's 100%. That's where it comes from.
Right. So you didn't fit in there. That one didn't.
I was, not really coming from an acting background, just, again with the singing, I liked it. I didn't really know anything about it. And you're doing all this movement stuff and, in the audition, they're like, forget about the audition. Now we're spinning plates and we're moving and, all this sort of like you're in quicksand and I'm there with like board shorts and a singlet on, full Queensland mode, like, how is this acting? I'll put some sand down. I'll walk through sand. Hey, whoa, wacky. Yeah, hey, I bet you don't have to do all the work.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, so auditioned for that one. Also auditioned for Whopper. Had a great time auditioning for Whopper, and auditioned to NIDA. And NIDA was pretty competitive. There were heaps of people there, and that was over a couple of days. And there was I got absolutely dressed down by the guy running it at the time because there was a word in a monologue that I hadn't Googled called egregious. No, you couldn't Google back then. Hang on, I'm talking way, way, way ago.
Oh, I'm sure we had.
I mean,
I don't think.
smartphones.
No. Pat, our mate Pat was. I remember him being the first to have an iPhone,
classic that. Yeah.
and I
And
had
now he
a.
doesn't have an iPhone. He refuses to use them. But yeah, he was.
Seriously, now he
Market.
started this.
He did start it.
He was the enabler. He got us hooked. What? Now he's run.
Now he refuses to use iPhones anyway.
You look at him though. It's like I'm surprised he's got running water at his house. Like seriously.
We'll get him on for a talk on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I'm happy to
Do
be there
nothing
for it
less.
too,
Yeah, sure.
and just be
Nothing
like,
less. Yeah.
have a shower,
You're
you.
so fat. Yeah.
People can smell you through the podcast, bro. Come on.
He'll like that.
Yeah. Delete that bit. No.
Give it in.
So you miss a single word, and that caused the NIDA
was a
brain
gr-
to slip.
Yeah, egregious. And I obviously didn't know what it was. I was doing Iago. And they were just like, this guy was like, you're auditioning for the National Institute. And you couldn't be bothered to look up what that word meant. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'd say I couldn't be bothered. I just didn't quite, to be totally honest, it never occurred to me. I thought I'd say it convincingly. And it's like, you don't even know what it means. You're like, all right, well, okay. In hindsight, I should have looked it up. Didn't get into that school, funnily enough.
Gotcha.
But got a phone call from Chris Edmond at Whopper saying like,
So what's
would you
Whopper?
like, Whopper is,
Not
sorry.
everyone knows.
Sorry, Whopper is the Western Australian Academy of Performing Arts.
Cool.
And like,
It's a
people
pretty
like,
good school.
yeah, Hugh Jackman come out of there, Francis McDormand, Francis O'Connor, definitely not Francis McDormand, Jai Courtney, quite a few. Actually, old mate that's a Red Power Ranger now, whose name's going to elude me. He was also in Stranger Things.
The Red Power Ranger. Everyone knows that.
The Red Power Ranger, yeah.
That is cool.
Was it Nicole
Yeah, it was
Kidman?
cool.
By any chance?
No, Nicole
She not,
no,
or-
Nicole didn't study, I don't think.
Oh,
Did you apply? You audition for the Red Power Ranger by any chance? Or
No, I didn't. No,
you would be
no.
such a good Red Power Ranger.
Don't you
I reckon,
think? I
100%.
know.
I can see the karate
Yeah.
shopping coming through. So.
100%. Well, you're on the receiving end of a few of those karate
100%
chops
I
too,
would've been.
and they're always like sparks,
They were
like they
fantastic.
lit a sparkler behind the karate chop.
There was.
God, the budget was huge on that show. I worked with a bloke called Firas Durrani, who was the Red Power Ranger, and
Stop it.
I think a season of it, like years ago, shot in New Zealand, and he was on. I worked with him on Hacksaw Ridge, and we had this big group thread going. Man, it got nasty. Like just pictures of him as the Maybe people were people.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Start somewhere, you know?
That was
That
pretty
is the
funny.
sort of show you watch as a kid. Don't watch it again.
No.
Later.
No.
Leave it as a nice childhood memory.
Very happy to leave it there.
Good.
You just go like, I actually don't want to be reminded of how gullible I was as a kid.
So you were in Whopper. Just gets back on track a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
You were in Whopper. You moved your life there. WA, a bit of a distance.
Moved there first time out of home.
Like, what was it like living in an acting school in Australia? Like, is it what you think it's going to be like? It's different.
I don't really know what I expected, but I had an amazing time.
Cool.
It was like Hogwarts. So, like, seriously, I'm there going like, you know, because it's a huge performing arts school too. So there is contemporary dance, classical dance, ballet. You've got jazz music, opera music. You know, you've got musical theatre. There were every sort of performing department you could think of was in this wing of this like Edith Cowan University in Mount Lawley, and it was unbelievable because like you'd have ballerinas stretching in the hallway with jazz music funneling out of these rooms, which is phenomenal, by the way. And you're just like, and then we're the actors, like we're these broody, cigarette smoking, coffee drinking, yet we were the coolest.
You're the cool kid.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
weird.
were,
That is
it made no sense
Yeah.
because we were the least talented there, but it's like,
Oh, here comes the actor.
100%, you know, it's just like, oh my God, here come the actors. And you're like, damn straight, here come the actors. That's right. Look at this minimal effort, maximum exposure.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. But in first year, we did get in trouble a bit because the head of the school, Andrew Lewis, who has like since become a very dear friend, pulled us all in, just us first years. And then, you know, there's 3 years across it. And they pulled us in. They're like, this isn't a fucking summer camp. And I remember at the back of my mind being like, what are you talking about? Yes, it is.
Pretty close, yeah.
Like, I didn't challenge him, but I'm like, it 100% is a summer camp. What are you talking about? Everybody's good looking. We're all like 18, 19, so we can drink because nobody drinks underage.
Sure.
Ever. And it's like, and we're getting to do what we love from 8 till 6 p.m. every day. Like, it was.
Surrounded by like-minded people. I mean, I imagine
That's right.
it would have been a wild time. Yes,
It was so much fun.
You shared some more stories that we can't share here, but they were
Yeah,
some good times that you enjoyed.
That's right.
School.
That's right. Mistakes were made. Lessons were learned. So let's say that. Lessons were learned along the way.
So in 3 years, you get a 3-year intensive
Yeah.
to be ready to do what arguably you could already do. How much do you learn?
Yeah.
Or is it more industry exposure? What do you take away?
It's a good question. It's a really good question because I think everybody walks away with something very different from it, you know, and that age old thing of like, you're only going to get out what you put in. And my experience was very different to some other people's because I hadn't grown up, you know, performing or anything like, you know, I mean, drama class was kind of it at an all boys rugby school, you know, which I loved that school too. I loved going there. That was great. But like by way of the exposure to it, you know, it wasn't like mum and dad were driving, you know, there was no like, there was no school performance, you know, where everybody, you know, do you know what I mean? There was no.
Nor at home. You're not really from a acting style.
No.
Family.
Very working class, you know. That's right. I came in like ready to learn as well. You know, you're the expert. Some other people would come in and you know they had existing knowledge. But I think what Whopper was really cool for is acting's kind of like, I mean, every acting book or every acting class, I mean, the goal is always the same, which is, you know, truth under a given set of circumstances that aren't your own, you know, ultimately. It's kind of getting to that. And every book just has a different way of skinning that cat. You know, so some people work physically from the outside in, you know, they'll work with, like, they'll do Laban work and, you know, they'll kind of physically become a character and then find the characters kind of, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then or other people will use actioning, you know, and they'll use adverbs to kind of, and doing words and verbs to kind of find the way that they deliver their lines and everything like that. But everything is geared towards the same thing. And Whopper was really cool because it was, when I was there, it was an advanced diploma. So it was kind of basically a TAFE. Which also meant, though, it wasn't answerable to a board of educators. So the staff could train us as we needed to be trained rather than tick boxes A, B, C, and D, and there you go. You're an actor, which is bullshit because you're not.
Arguably for many professions as well. So,
right,
I
and I mean,
it's the freedom that would have provided.
Which is amazing, and like what I needed was very different to what, another student in my class would have needed. And
You
I
would have
really
needed a fair bit more, I trust.
100%. I sort of needed to be reminded to wear clothes and things like that. Just a lot of kind of babysitting for me more than anything else.
Wear clothes?
Yeah. I know, right? At an acting school, counterintuitive.
Outrageous.
Yeah, I know. Times have changed. But so I really enjoyed that, and I think what I mostly took away, I always used to have this idea of like, and it's just an insecurity thing and a preservation thing, but like, I'll do it on the day. So kind of this, I'd say it's a very Australian culture, especially masculine culture thing. Although that's not fair. It's to say that it's kind of pretty universal, I'd say. This tall poppy syndrome idea of like, if you're seen to be trying, you're a loser.
Yeah.
The coolest kid at high school was the one that didn't go to football training and scored all the tries on the weekend.
Yeah.
The one that didn't study for the exam and aced it, that guy was a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Whereas the kids that studied for it, you were just like,
Stop trying so hard.
yeah, you're not special because you fucking worked for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had that. I mean, I've since been to America, and they're the kind of the complete opposite.
Yeah.
They celebrate the hard worker, and they champion their hard workers. And they talk about it a bit too much. This is what I've been doing to get to the place I am. But
yeah, very British of us, like really for that.
yeah, we're very self-deprecating, and we call it humility, but it's not. That's not quite right.
Yeah.
We just sort of don't. We're getting in on ripping ourselves a new arsehole before others do.
Yeah.
It's like,
So it doesn't hurt.
before you cut me down, I know I'm a dickhead. And people are like, you're okay, kid.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's that self-preservation piece as well, but also I think it's like you're all worried, what's society going to think of me, and what's the view from here?
Yeah, 100%. And like in particular at that school, I wanted to do well. And so the idea of failing or not doing well, even in in that world, was kind of more terrifying than learning.
Yeah.
But this is what my time at that school was really amazing for me because, I could fail upwards, and you do make mistakes. And sometimes, not playing your entire hand at the beginning, you end up, you just, all of a sudden it's too late to amend, and that show's over. And they're like, if you just done that on the floor in rehearsal, we could have massaged the performance out of it. And you go, well, that's an opportunity missed. So, but thankfully, not being in the real world in an education, in the educational environment, you can make those mistakes. And I remember once I graduated, I worked with this bloke who, just by watching him, I picked up this great lesson from him that he would throw everything at it from like day one, even the table read.
Yeah.
And you go like, holy shit, man. Like I was looking at the director, watching his efforts, and is everything right? Absolutely not. But you go like, mate, from day one, it's refinement, not rehearsal. And you go, this guy, you've just saved so much time because you got your fucking ego out of the way.
Yeah.
And so that's still a journey. It'll always be a journey. But that was kind of the biggest thing I got out of drama school was like, just jump in, fail, make mistakes, and have no ego about it. Trust that the person you're failing in front of, you've got the same goal, which is, a truthful performance or a great story at the end of it.
Yeah.
Nice. Jeez, what a good summary, man. That's awesome. So obviously when you graduate Whopper, you just become an instant celebrity. That's how it works, I assume. So
well, I mean that's where Whopper has it over NIDA and VCA.
Yeah, no,
actually.
And the phone just rang.
That's
jobs
right.
came in.
Can you be
dude,
on the star in this movie?
100%. Yeah, I know. Well, I had to cross over to Telstra just so I could take all the calls.
So you walk out there, man, and obviously you celebrate probably initially, and then you go, all right, now what?
Now what?
What does that actually look like? You get an agent, manager, do you have to pay for them?
Yeah, well,
Do you get some stars?
We did a showcase. So you do a showcase, and we go from Perth. We went to Melbourne and Sydney. It's kind of where the big agents kind of mostly base themselves.
Yep.
And it's going to them so that it's minimal effort for them.
Yeah.
If they have to go to any sort of lengths to see you, It's not a great start. But yeah, do that. And then I was really fortunate. I had quite a few meetings with various agents lined up out of that. Some people weren't so fortunate, which is really hard. You've been with these people like almost 24/7 for 3 years, and to see them, boils down to this one thing. You've got 5 minutes. You've got a 2.5 minute screen performance and a 2.5 minute kind of stage performance. And if that doesn't pop after 3 years, you just get overlooked. And it's like, shit, if only you'd seen them in second year, they did this one performance. And you're like, no, it's just, but it is like anything really, where it's like, some people, like, the reality is the world does not give a shit about how hard you try.
Yeah.
It's results driven. Like, it just is. And I mean, once you know that, then you can focus on that. We know, we can pat each other on the back for giving it a red hot crack, but it just, unfortunately, it's not as important to some people. They just don't care how hard you
it's
try.
not going to be for everyone, is it? Like, I'm sure Whopper, NIDA, all the schools now would produce more than the supply we need, isn't it? So it's always going to be for every profession.
It's massively changed those schools.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get. I mean, it's tough. I think the students graduating now, I don't think they're being afforded the education that we got, simply because the power has shifted. If, like, when we were late to class, if you were even 5 minutes, you got locked out.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, the way the world is now as well, how dare you? I'm paying for this education.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's a generalization, but there are no stakes anymore. There's nothing for people to lose. There is no, and it goes very far the other way as well. So I don't really know what the answer is. You have staff taking the piss and kind of really, kind of establishing God complexes and blah 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 when they hold all the power. But I don't know. It's just, I think I don't know. I don't know if some of the kids graduating now are ready.
Yeah.
In any capacity for what the world's going to throw at them is what I would say. That's a generalization, but
it wouldn't be unique to acting either, mate. Yeah.
At all.
The new society, the new generation, the new whatever it is.
Is that just because we're getting older as well?
We're getting older.
things.
we probably are. We're starting to get bitter. You know what I mean? It's just like back in my day.
In my day. Are we allowed to say that yet, or are we?
Yes.
I think we're in the realm.
I really hope we can, because I've been thinking it for a while.
Good. Well, we're definitely not going to solve the schooling dilemmas.
No.
Next piece. I think
No.
there's more to unpack on it. But let's go to like the first job. What was the first singer? Like, you were like, I've just put in 3 years, probably most of my schooling. I've come out of Whopper.
Yeah.
I'm a trained acting professional.
Yeah.
You're in front of the camera for the first time.
Yeah.
Or are you on the radio, mate? You've got a good face for radio.
No, I do actually. I keep hearing that. Yeah, I know. I remember graduating and kind of like, here we go, yabba dabba doo, bring it on, what's up? And nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
And so I was really lucky. The agent I signed with had a pretty good plan to have me read at casting studios or casting agencies and build a rapport with the casting agents. Which was great, but I'd just be on the other side of the camera reading, like when you're going for an audition, typically there'll be somebody there next to the casting agent that'll read the sides with you. And so I'd be that other actor.
So you're not getting the job, you're just the other person
just there
for the job, you're just helping.
That's right. And you're there all day, and it's a cool opportunity because, I mean, you end up playing a bunch of different characters throughout the day or the weeks. And you build a rapport with them, and then all of a sudden they want to start seeing you for stuff and rah, rah, rah. So that was kind of a really good, sort of blueprint to actually starting to get opportunities. But the first job I got, before that, I remember filling out a CV for just a regular job, and they're like, relevant skills, and I'm going like, fucking juggling? Acting has prepared me for nothing.
I can pretend to do anything.
I know, I'm just like, oh man, that was rough. I'm like, percussion? Nothing is relevant to this burger flipping job. Far out.
So you got a part-time?
Did I work at Grilled?
Yeah, how good.
I worked at Grilled.
Relevant experiences. Are you serious? Do I need more relevant experience for this?
Ben O'Toole,
man.
I've graduated from Whopper.
Yeah, I was like, yo.
Customers will be happy to talk to me.
My manager as well was like 2 years younger than me as well. And, you know, I mean,
Oh, no.
she'd draw on the eggs all day and then be like, Ben, can you go and clean the toilet? And you're like, surely there's a person for that. And they're like, yeah, it's you. And you're like, oh, fucking, yeah, good one. Just keep colouring in eggs. What am I doing?
What am I doing? I'm a famous actor. Yeah.
I'm like, do you know who I'm going to be? So anyway, but the first job, I did a bit of, that was me. I did a bit of, I booked a couple of plays back in Perth, and that was really cool. Like with the State Theatre Company there, Black Swan, and that was really cool. Those are the biggest crowds I performed in. But I was really, really comfortable on stage because I spent 3 years doing it. I was really interested in screen because I knew that was something. That's like, let's get better at that. And it is the medium we mostly absorb. And it was it was watching movies that made me want to be an actor, not going to the theatre. So my first TV job was a TV job first, and then it was a film. It was Love Child. And I basically booked that job through the reading. I'd been helping them cast house husbands. And then this Love Child, it was still with Playmaker, the production company, and then ended up booking that, and that was just as a series. No, it wasn't. It was a guestie. It was a 5-day guestie. I was across 2 episodes, and man, I remember taking that phone call. I was in this. There were 6 people living in this absolute knockdown of a house in Sydney. Oh man, that house
I never
sucked.
made it there.
I did.
Tom tells me stories of it.
Dude, that's right. Everybody had to get tetanus shots. Where we were, the cockroaches.
Grilled. It's like, I need this gig.
It was so, exactly.
And the word comes in that you're on.
It was like, yo, you got the
Channel
job.
9
And I'm
show.
just like, like, seriously? People must have thought I'd won the lotto. It was super, super cool. And I think, I still like it. I think, like, your phone gives you little memories.
Yeah,
I'd still get some of the little photos where I'm so green and so scared and so nervous and just like, I just don't want to get in anyone's way, and you're like, which is, but it's, I don't know. Yeah, that you don't really get the best performances out of people that are just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Mate, not a TV show I'd normally watch, but I watched it for you, mate.
Do you?
So
Thank
it's a
you.
pretty special moment to see you on it.
Yeah,
You
pretty
do-
wild.
You do the TV show. When's the first movie called?
First movie was, so I met Ryan Core on that. We became pretty good mates. And then was an audition for, so I signed with this American agent, WME. I met with Duncan, who's my current manager now at a different company, but he signed me to WME, and through WME, which is a massive agency, big agency in the States, Russell Crowe was casting a film called The Water Diviner. Like preliminary, just sort of, and anyway, decided to meet with 4 of us, 4 kids that were rep by WME. So he was just in agency looking. And myself, Ryan, Tom Cockrell, and I want to say Xavier Samuel, but that could be wrong. Anyway, and Tom, myself, and Ryan kind of knew of each other and randomly happened to bump into. We meet at Russell's house, individual, the one in Woolloomooloo, and I'm so nervous. I'm so scared as well because you're like,
You've made it.
this is one of my heroes, and you're just like, just whatever you do, don't be a dick, like don't ruin this. You're the only one that's
really
going to.
hard for you as well.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sort of there thinking back, going like, you've talked yourself out of everything. I don't know if you could do it at this time. Like if you slip up here, it's you, man. It's you. It's not Russell. He's got an Oscar, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so go in and he's got a piece of paper in front of him, and we sit down. He lights a cigarette, and he's like, "Do you want a drink, or do you want coffee or anything?" And I probably had about 4 coffees at that point, so I was peaking. I was tweaking. Anyway, and then we start chatting, and he goes, "Anyway, like it was like the first thing he said is he goes, now Benny, I've printed off your CV off IMDb," and I was like, it just fell out of me. I went, "Oh yeah," like that. He goes, and mate, it's fucking empty. And I was like, uh-huh. And he goes, what's up with that? And I just said to him, I was like, well, I'm not about to apologize for the fact that nobody's hired me yet. I just graduated. And it just came out of me. And I almost caught myself at the end of it going, why did you get defensive? Yeah. Why did you say that? Why did you not just... Crowe. But it was obviously it was some kind of weird test because then he was like, okay. Like, and then we moved on and we kept chatting and then we went through this long, like quite a long casting process. But I did end up getting cast in that film as one of his sons. And we ended up becoming really good mates. Like I would end up, I'd go to his house quite a bit, just out of Coffs Harbour there, Nana Glen. And we would every New Year's for like 5 or 6 years, I was going up there and
for the famous New Year's party.
For the famous New Year's parties, man, and like that was such a good time too. They're really weirdly enough, they were really wholesome because his parents are there and he'd have his kids there and stuff like that. It was really nice to kind of be a part of that family. There was one day as well where it was like Benny, the boys, his sons they won't watch Gladiator, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, they like you. Would you mind just watching Gladiator with them? And I'm like,
okay.
I will do this. I will do this. And sitting there watching the movie with Russ's kids, I was like, this is so cool. I'm watching the Gladiator with the Gladiator's kids. But his eldest son, Charlie's quite intelligent. And not to say Tennyson isn't, but like Charlie's really quite savvy.
Yeah.
And immediately just goes, as we're watching it, he goes, Dad's called the Spaniard in this, yet he's speaking with some sort of like English Australian accent. Why? And I was like, just
enjoy the movie.
Just I don't think you do. I mean, if you're thinking of it, you just focus on the film. Like you're obviously not paying attention. But then it was in my head, and all I could think the whole time watching it, I was like, why the fuck is he not? Why doesn't he have a Spanish accent? Actually, if he's called, why is he called the Spaniard? And I was just like, oh, thanks a lot, Charlie. You've ruined the film. So, but that was a pretty surreal moment.
How old
actually.
was the kids at the time? Yeah, how old were us kids?
Charlie would have been like 14 or 15, I think.
Yeah.
And Tenny was a little bit younger. I'm not entirely sure the age gap, but Tenny was a wild child. He's super cool.
Yeah, well, they've done pretty well if they've got their heads on and that sort of a household.
Yeah, and Russ he's a great dad too. Like they were awesome. Cool. They were really awesome. Yeah.
How good.
That's
and
so
was
cool.
All the South Sydney Rabbitohs at the party as well, mate?
No, but you know what? When we started rehearsing for the film,
did he own them?
No, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
When we did the boot camp, right? We did a 2-week boot camp for this World War I film, The Water Diviner, and at the start of it, there were a bunch of the Rabbitohs there, which was super cool. That was great. And like,
do you know
George Burgess is like, well, I knew the Burgess.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we had the twins and Sammy Burgess was there as well. But I've become really good mates with George. George and I just did a film last year together.
Yeah,
George is into acting now. Well, he always liked it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a great actor, but B, you take seriously, the guy is enormous.
They are
huge.
Big boys.
Such a big dude, and you're just like, mate, you'll never not work. If you can string a sentence together, you'll be fine, which he can. He's actually pretty damn good too.
Nice.
So, but yeah, that was pretty cool. And we go to Rabbitohs games and stuff like that. It was really fun. He's so international now. Like, this was back when he was spending quite a bit of time here, but yeah.
Doesn't do as much. We don't see him at every Rabbitohs game.
No.
Anymore.
Not anymore, no.
He'd be there from time to time.
Yeah.
Mate, how cool. So you meet like what a run of events.
Yeah.
For you. You come in, you do the TV show, how good. You get a movie with Rusty, like there couldn't be, I don't know, if we put a handful of Australian actors I'm sure you'd love to work with, he would have been on that.
Well, 100%.
To start with.
Yeah.
You do his movie and you're like, okay,
cool.
Now I'm in. The
Yeah.
run begins? Like, is it kind of work flows in, or is it you always feel like you're having to perform, prove yourself?
I mean, work does beget more work. Once people, and I think it's more like a trustworthiness. Like people know that you'll show up.
Yeah.
And they're like, he'll be there on the day, he'll learn his lines, and, you know, didn't slow the whole day up. I think there's more an element of that when you're starting out, because you're typically not being given roles where the entire production rests on your back. And then once you keep kind of doing that a little bit, you know, because like you speak about the 5 Australian actors, Mel Gibson was another one, and I ended up getting to be in Hacksaw Ridge with him, which was like mind blowing. And, you know, again, it was like a smaller role, but, you know, across a long shoot, and just the like, you know, like the second day of shooting there, Mel comes up to me and I'm hanging out with Vince Vaughn, and him and I became really great mates, which was so cool. And he was so awesome. I was so intimidated, but like I'd met through Russ, I'd started meeting, you know, these bigger names. Yeah. And I, you know, like somebody said ages ago, it's like if you treat famous people like they're normal and normal people like they're famous, you're bulletproof in every situation. And you go like, and it's kind of cool. And so, that, you know, kind of stops you from being too starstruck and doesn't make you an absolute dickhead to, you know, like people, which is really good, because there are so many of them that don't think like that.
Yeah.
Mate, pretty special. And because you were standing next to Vince Vaughn in nearly every
pretty much every.
I felt like you were just his little shadow.
I was, man. I was.
Your role as his 2IC.
That's right.
Or whatever,
A great movie as well.
Yeah, like, thank you. Yeah,
very well.
It was
probably something special to be a part of. Like,
really special. And like Mel comes up to me, and there was a teacher at Whopper that said to me in my final year, it's like, you'll never work because of your voice. You know, because we didn't have the best relationship. You know, like we disagreed. There were certain things where he'd be like, you know, move around like you're a lion in the African jungle. And I'm like, all right. And then he's like, but when you're on that stage, just do the 4 walls, you know, you're just in a theatre. And I'm like, well, what is it, mate? Are we in the jungle or are we in the... You're changing your mind every freaking day. And he was like, shut up, Ben. You know, and I'd be like, whatever. I'm out of here.
I'm paying to go to here. You got to do what I say.
I know, that's right. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to be late next week, and you can just fucking suck it up. Yeah. Anyway, so he... Anyway, he kind of said, you know, you're going to have a really hard time working in this industry. And then Mel comes up to me on day 2, taps me on the chest, and he's like, how you going, Benny? How you doing? And I was like, bullshit, man. He's remembered my name and everything. Right. And I'm like, he's kind of one of the reasons I became an actor too. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, yeah. Anyway, listen, I've been talking to Vince, and I love your voice, man. I fucking love your voice. So I've been talking to Vince, and you're comfortable with the American accent? And I was like, I'd say anything at that point. I was like, mate, I could do you. Are you kidding me? I work at NASA. I'd say anything. I'd be like, of course I can. And he's like, great. So I've been talking to Vince, and he's going to throw you some stuff, and you guys just do the improv stuff. Vince is so good at improv, so you two could fucking improv. And it storms off, and I'm like, the guy, my voice teacher in 3rd year, was wrong. Oh, it was amazing. And then, you know, when we're doing ADR, which is additional dialogue required, you go in at the end of a film, and as a part of the post process, you know, once they're doing the edit and mixing the sound and blah, 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 doing the grade and the score, you'll come in and it's a thing called looping. And normally they get other actors, like voiceover actors and stuff, to come in and do a bit of looping. But I was in there doing some ADR for my stuff, and Mel's like, would you mind voicing over some of these other actors in the piece? And I was like, this could not, at that point, I was like, kill me. It's good. Well, don't kill me. Don't kill me.
I want to do the recording.
I know. And at that point as well, Mel might have. Do you know what I mean? He could have.
He could have.
But I was like, if this was it, if I died in a car crash on my way home, I'd be like, I think I did what I set out to achieve. Like, Mel Gibson likes me for what I do. Not like, he doesn't laugh at my stories. He likes me for what I do.
And you were starting to collect them, from Mel to Vince to Rusty to who knows who else.
I know, it's wild.
So there's obviously been some highlights.
Yeah.
You know, things go up and down in life. You know, get too deep. But what about some of the challenges that you've been through, do you reckon, like mentally, around maybe missing out on jobs or not being stoked with what you're doing, or periods like that?
And I'll throw one more in. COVID was probably a weird time for your industry as well.
Yeah.
Maybe,
add to that.
What were the challenges?
I'll go. So COVID was an interesting one because a lot of actors, this does come from a place of privilege. I'm very aware of that, but all I do is act, and we're basically contractors, right? And even even when you have a good year, there's probably still 5 to 6 months of the year you're not working, and that's a great year, you know. And so on the back of that, though, there are so many actors that will do an ad, blah blah blah, but primarily they do something else. So when Job Seeker was going around, or Job Seeker was, anyway, whichever one it was, a lot of people were, you know, they were like, well, I've lost my job working at a cafe, you know, or working at a bar, blah blah blah. So they were quite entitled to it. But for contractors, because we don't necessarily own our own business, so we weren't eligible for JobKeeper. And, you know, like a lot of the trading here in Australia as well, it's through a tax file number, not through an ABN. So we couldn't get that, but we also we didn't really have this other job. Like, we didn't have regular employment, so we couldn't get Job Seeker. But there was that. We did end up getting it through. Sorry, there's a point to this. But we did end up getting it. It's like, fuck, hey, remember that bullshit, everybody?
JobKeeper, Job Seeker.
Yeah, I know. It's people are going like, they're triggered.
Yeah.
Going, click off. But we ended up getting it because there were no opportunities for work.
Yeah.
Because the industry completely shut down. So that was kind of pretty rough. And there were a lot of people where it was like, you know, they're very used to that, and there's a lot of people that weren't. And the biggest challenge for me was there was zero job opportunities. I'm very used to, you know, I mean, it's the name of the game, is auditioning. You know, you're shocked when you hear a yes. I mean, I'm at a point in my career now where that's a bit different, but there is like. It is, you know, you're surprised when the phone rings with a yes.
What, like rough numbers? Were you doing 10 auditions to one yes, or 20
probably more. It'd probably be more like 20.
Yeah, right.
20 to 1 are your odds of actually, sometimes even just getting feedback too.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, you've got to love the work in that, because it's not, it can't be, you know, results based or goal orientated. So, with that, there were no opportunities, which is what I really struggled with. I'd say the biggest thing for me mentally as a challenge has been the getting older part of it. And people, like, I love the fact that I have a lot of very good friends like yourselves. I've really tried to, in my life, keep one foot in my, like, family home where I grew up and everything like that, and then one in the, you know, in the biz, in the acting industry. And so many friends and family members and people I'm really close to and really dear to are taking these next steps in their life.
Yeah.
And I haven't been. You know, there's this world where you are. And I sort of realized it maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that it's like I was still in Sydney, living on my own, paying stupid amounts of rent, wanting the phone to ring. And you know, the optics are you're a success. You know, you're doing well.
Yeah.
And whilst that may be true, you know, I think I'm 36 now. You go, why doesn't it feel like that sometimes, you know? My brother has this beautiful baby girl and, you know, and a home and a wife, and I have a car. Do you know what I mean?
It's red.
Now, I love that car, and it's really obnoxious, so I can't lose it. You know, and so there are just parts of you where you go like, I wouldn't trade it, but you go like, maybe it hit me a little later. But I think the challenge for me has been like, it's a really there's that old saying, like, people are mostly scared of success. They're actually not scared of failing, because if you fail, everything stays the same, but succeeding, everything's got to change. Yeah. And I've never really been scared of success. It's been really exciting, but I don't think I gave much thought to it either, of what that meant. Because in 2016, I went over to the States to give it a red hot crack there, and then kind of was over there for the next 3 to 4 years.
Yep.
COVID's what brought me back, which was super, super lonely.
Yeah.
You make friends over there, but, you know, if you get to do what you want to do, You're living out of a suitcase in a hotel, and boo fucking who, right?
Yeah.
You know, you get to, and I'm very aware of that. But you just go like, I wish if I had my time again, or if I was to teach at a school or something like that, or talk to people who wanted to give this a go. It's like that dream of yours where you're the only one. Like, start including people in that dream, because you'll just turn around at a certain point and go, "Fuck, where is that?"
Yeah. And you can,
Anyway, that sounds really bleak.
No,
I
it's a
love
good
my
point,
life.
Benny.
I'm at a point now, and you also see people like, I've got friends that are 50,
Yeah.
and they're still paying rent with no, you know, they're living like 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they're laboring to make ends meet so that they can do a guestie on Home and Away, and
Yeah.
you're just like, what is this lifestyle? I've had this big wake up call where you go, like, what are you doing to secure your future? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you probably, like, thanks for sharing firstly, Benny. It's awesome, mate, because everyone sees the highlights, you know, it's a highlight reel. But everyone sees the highlight reels of everyone.
It's true. Well, social media, it's just you get the
It
best
is.
bits.
That's correct, yeah,
Don't
which
ya?
is, you know, what most people do, and we do. But, you know, I think the realization that you're maybe filling that void with auditions and work, and then you get more of a void where you're maybe a bit lonely and you work harder. And, like, that's common in so many industries.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine more, like, much more so probably in yours, because you have that downtime.
You do have that downtime, and it's like, what do you want to do with it? And I've started. Thankfully, I think, you know, it took me a minute to kind of figure it out, but I think I figured it out.
Nice.
Is like, you know, I mean, not dissimilar to yourselves, right? At a certain point, you went, why am I working for somebody else? Why can't we do this ourselves? And
Yep.
it's scary. I can't speak to it for you guys, but it's scary.
100%.
But you go like, no risk, no reward. I mean, there's every sort of hallmark catchphrase associated to it. You know, fortune favors the brave. And it's just like,
What, you got another one? Or?
just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Nike
that,
or-
that, might, yeah,
Stuck with
that
the two.
was, yeah,
Should've
yeah.
stuck with the two. I
Yeah,
reckon.
yeah. Bleep that one. But it is like, I think there's a reason, like that is, it's terrifying, but just if you don't, somebody else will. They'll fill, if you see a little hole and there's an opportunity, you kind of take it. And I think I've sort of found that. I just got back from Sydney yesterday, meeting, you know, we've been meeting with Netflix and stuff like that, and financiers trying to get shows, trying to step behind the camera a little bit and become a producer. And we've written a couple of shows and things like that after we did Court. My producing partner, Kick, we kind of want to do that because there's a way that I see that paving the way for a future. You know, it's like I'm starting to ask myself those 10, 15, 20-year questions, and it's like, you got to do something now.
Yeah.
Other than, you know, rather than just like, I'm going to manifest it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There might be a bit of that. I think if you don't, man, I love it. And I think it's so relatable to what we've spoken about a fair bit on this in previous episodes as well. Like, what's the goal?
Yeah.
Like, what's the goal here? Do you want to be the most famous person out of Australia? Like, I don't think that was ever your goal, really.
No.
Do you want bucket loads of money? Sure. What happens when you get bucket loads of money? Like, what's the end state that you're working towards? And I think you've done a bit of that, reflecting the last 2 years, and
I have,
probably
yeah.
still working it out.
No, and I think still working it out. I mean, this will be my first swing at a solution, I guess, to that, or an answer to that question. But the goal for me has always been, and you know, I think now I can sort of think about it a little more clearly, is choice. I want choice, which I think it feels like a bit of a cop-out, but I think everybody wants that in some capacity, you know? People go into business so that they don't have to work for someone else. It's their choice, you know? I'm at work, you know, and I want choice. I don't want to take some shit movie because I need to pay my mortgage. I would love to be in a position one day that I'm doing something because I want to be doing it. Like, it creatively satisfies me. And that's not to suggest that I am doing things that are shit or that I don't believe in or don't like, but that would be the goal. And I think as well, like, starting to create our own work and kind of have, I guess a bigger answer to your question as well is autonomy. I wouldn't mind a little more control over my life.
Yeah. Bit of freedom.
bit of freedom, you know. It's like I think about it. It's like, okay, if I were to have like, okay, now I have a wife and 2 kids and a mortgage, you know, and it's like, what do I like if we want to go on holiday? Am I hanging out by the phone just in case somebody rings saying, here's a script for you to read, I need you on set, blah, blah. It's like that kind of, you're not being the best husband. You know, like that's rough. Or the best partner, you know, or the best dad, you know, if you're going to. So I think being a producer where you plan these things leagues in advance, where it's like, well, you know, like even now you go, well, we're going to shoot in August. So it's like, we could probably duck off in March. We could go to New Zealand for a little. I don't know. Like I'd love a little control and a little choice rather than just being answerable.
Love it.
And I did, They're just great roles. You know, really fun roles.
You can decide yourself. I mean, we're in the same pursuit. Like, sitting down at the coast with our family. Still checking phones, still doing emails. I love that. I think people don't go as far as you've gone to be like the goal is choice or freedom or the decision making that they miss, and the pursuit is wealth, status. I don't think for everyone is the true pursuit. When they get there, it's like, great. Like, we're not near there, and by any means, so we probably can't speak from it. But those who speak about it seem to say it's not what it's not what we thought. It hasn't solved the hole. It hasn't filled me up.
It's sort of like it's kind of exactly that. I mean, you know, aspiring to wealth is like what the hell is wealth? You know, what is that? Or aspiring to success is like, what does that actually look like? And then there are versions of it, like what we said, and you go like, okay, so you're on a big Hollywood movie set with Chris Hemsworth and Michael Shannon. Cool. You go home to nobody. You know, you have nobody. You're on the other side of the world too. So it's like you get offset. Do you know what I mean? You go like,
that was really cool.
Yeah. And you're like,
but what's next? Or what's the...
Yeah, it's like you're happiest around other people. And you make these great friends too, doing like, and I imagine this would be like anything. You know, I've made great friends bartending, but the minute you're not working at that bar and it becomes a concerted effort for you to maintain that relationship, I don't know whose fault it is, but typically some of them could just disappear, you know, like, which is sad. Because then you're like, I've got friends. And you're like, mate, 2 weeks, they won't even fucking know who you are.
What friends are
you've always got friends here.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I know. It's dangerous that I know where you guys are now. I have a lot of time on my hands.
Benny, we've taken heaps of your time, man. Maybe I'll do the one more question that is on my mind. What does the next 10 to 20 look like now?
I reckon I've moved back to Brizzy. I wanted to be closer to family. My brother, like, you know, you guys both have kids and we've been friends for, oh, God, that's the last 20 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was the 20. Now looking forward, I don't want to be I'm a stranger to your children through no fault of anybody's, but just not being here. And that sucks. And my brother had a baby and it's like, I don't want that. So I want to move home. I come home. I want to, the next sort of 10 to 20, I'd like to settle down somewhere here. I wouldn't mind finding somebody to kind of start a family with and start taking those next steps with. But
DM Ben O'Toole if you're single.
Oh, shit.
You're going to flood through now, mate.
Oh, God, that'll be funny. Yeah, I mean, everybody wins today. But and then I really want to start producing because I feel like that's an environment, like I love the acting and I believe I'm respected in that field by peers and, you know, by people behind the camera. I would really like to have set something up so that I can kind of be my own boss on set. I would like that because I would love some autonomy. And I also do believe as well, like if you know, the truth is when those things work in the film and television environment, you do make a bit of coin and you can, you know, it can keep coming in. Yep. You know, you can set yourself up there. Like, you know, Boy Swallows Universe made a lot of money for a lot of people. And I'm really good friends with the people that made that, the producers. And
Great
you know,
show, and you had a great role in it, mate.
yeah, thank you.
Right.
Oh no, I keep playing, mate. These next two films as well.
Yeah.
Not a great guy.
Not a great guy.
Not a great guy.
You were not a great guy in that.
No, I wasn't. I
It looked
know.
like it came easy, so.
A mate of ours the other day goes like, "Mate, you're a proper piece of work," and I'm like, "It's probably a bit like looking in the mirror, man, isn't
Thank
it?
you.
Seriously,
Oh, my.
because I base a character off you. Now leave me alone."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
but
How good.
yeah, that would be ideal, is to just kind of do that and then fly away. Like Sydney's become a place of work, which is great because it's cheaper to fly there and fly back and accommodate yourself down
Yeah.
there for a couple of nights than it is to
Time
pay
zones.
rent.
Yeah.
Oh,
How good, mate. Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
Wake up to yourself, Sydney.
Yeah. They're
Wake
not
the
going
hell
to.
up. No, they
Thanks.
won't.
Yeah.
They're still smelling their own farts.
Aren't we all?
And we
Like
know
that San Fran episode of South Park. You're just like,
Property
we're
prices.
better than you now.
yeah.
property prices in one direction, mate, for all places.
Oh,
especially Sydney,
yeah.
So no reprieve there, I think. But
Oh, well.
Final question, man. Favorite movie of all time, and then we're gonna say goodbye.
There Will Be Blood.
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson, Daniel Day-Lewis,
Yep.
Paul Dano, Quentin Tarantino's favorite. That film, that film kind of changed. I think that film really changed a lot for me as well. Like that performance from Day-Lewis, but you know, you've also got Tom York doing the score for it from Radiohead. Paul Thomas Anderson, it was kind of my introduction to him as a director who will hopefully take out the Oscar this year for One Battle After Another. That film was pretty definitive for me. I regularly quote it, regularly rewatch scenes. One of those performances too that, quick question.
good, no, it's
Fucking super slow
Shouldn't
answer.
ask an actor what their
Strap
favourite movie
in.
is.
Yeah, I know. God, you're going to get my whole catalogue. But that's one of those, you know, in every film or every Oscar-winning performance, there's always scenes where you go, that's where they won the Oscar. There was that scene, like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men. It's the coin toss scene. You go,
Yeah.
there's his Oscar.
Yeah.
In There Will Be Blood, it's like every single scene, every frame Day-Lewis is in, you're like, I don't know. I don't know which is better than the last. So that's a masterclass. Yeah.
Thanks, Benny.
thank
Yeah.
you, Benny, mate.
Hey, guys.
we
Thank you.
really appreciate the time, effort.
Nah,
mate,
thank you.
coming on this. So look forward to watching Journey. Keen for the next 10 to 20 years. Love that you're here, mate.
Oh,
Look
thank
forward to
you.
spending time with you. So thanks again, legend.
Love you, boys. Thank you. This is fun.
Thanks, bro.